Hello everyone and welcome to Blog Runner Everything, and welcome back to the channel and a match review as we look at how FC Barcelona once again pulled off a remontada in the Copa, and my match prediction magic was spot on as Barcelona's insatiable appetite for extra time once again came to the fore. As you may or may not know, in my previous upload I did say that this match would be going to extra time. Never mind the other stuff I said about I don't know what will happen. Okay, I was just being humble, alright? And just as I predicted, the match went to extra time after a 94th minute equalizer by Gerard Piqué. Later on, Martin Braithwaite booked Barcelona a ticket for the final to get a 3-0 win on the night and a 3-2 victory overall. So, as we normally do with match reviews, we'll look at how the teams lined up, then talk about Barcelona's performance on the night and discuss negatives and positives from the game, as well as pick the man of the match. Quick reminder to hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video so you can keep up with all the FC Barcelona match reviews on this channel. So, let's go straight ahead and look at how the two teams set up. Barcelona kept to the 3-5-2 from the weekend with the same players too. In goals, Marc-Andre ter Stegen, a back three of Lenglet, Piqué and Mingueza, with Alba and Dest in the fullback areas, whilst Pedri, Busquets and De Jong were picked through the middle, and Messi and Dembélé started up front. Sevilla made some much expected tweaks to the team that started Saturday night's match at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. However, the changes were strictly in terms of personnel rather than tactical shape, so they kept to a 4-3-3 with Vaclik in goal, Acuna at left back, Koundé and Carlos in the middle with Vidal at right back, the midfield three of Oliver, Fernando and Jordan, and a front three of En-Nesyri, De Jong and Suso. Let's now briefly look at how Barcelona performed in this game. Barcelona started the game with great purpose and intensity right from the first minute. They knew that they needed to be able to score early to have any realistic hopes of turning this tie, and that is exactly what they were able to do 12 minutes into the match. They had earlier threatened Sevilla on two separate occasions after some wonderful work by Dest and Pedri to create shooting opportunities for Dembélé, but Sevilla did not heed the warnings, and in the 12th minute, Dembélé once again found himself in space on the edge of Sevilla's 18-yard box with lots of time on the ball, and with minimal effort, he curled a shot past Vaclik into his top right-hand corner. That just so happened to be his fourth goal in 8 appearances against Sevilla, by the way, so I think he may have picked up a trick or two from Messi about, scoring against Sevilla. The goal then seemed to give Barcelona more confidence and threatened to derail Sevilla's night. Unfortunately, the Barcelona players seemed to develop a reluctance to shoot as all of Dembélé, De Jong, Pedri and Messi found themselves in great positions but did not pull the trigger, instead opting to overplay the ball. This allowed Sevilla to regain their composure as they slowly started to organize themselves to sit deep and try and hit Barca on the break. They nearly did just that as De Jong was inches away from finding an equalizer for them after beating the offside trap, but he was thwarted by Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Barca then spent the rest of the half probing for a way past the Sevilla backline, but they were unable to find one, and the first half ended. The second half continued in a similar vein as Barcelona kept pushing and pushing, while Sevilla also kept looking for the goal on the break. Barca then thought that they had grabbed their equalizer after Dembélé floated a cushioned cross to an unmarked Jordi Alba, but his improvised bicycle kick volley crashed off the crossbar, and then had a real potential egg-on-face moment on 73 minutes as Sevilla won a penalty on the breakaway as Ocampos clattered into Mingueza. Fortunately though, Marc-Andre ter Stegen is a die-hard Blog Runner Everything fan, and he saved the penalty from Ocampos to keep Barcelona alive in the tie and the score at 1-0. The moment of inevitability soon arrived though. Well, I say soon, but it actually didn't come until late in the game. Gerard Piqué getting on the end of an Antoine Griezmann cross to put Barcelona 2-0 up and force the game into extra time. Extra time continued the trend of the 90 minutes prior to it though, as Barca continued to pin back Sevilla in their own half. But with the added man advantage after the 91st minute sending off of Fernando, Sevilla found themselves short of numbers at the back, and Barca didn't take too long to capitalize on that as the spiritual successor of Ronaldo Nazario, Mr. Martin Braithwaite, struck with a real poacher's goal as he headed in a Jordi Alba cross in the 6-yard box to give Barcelona the lead in the tie for the first time, and That is ultimately how it would end, as Barcelona completed a comeback after what was a spirited performance. I will now move on to talk about my negatives and positives from the game. First up, the negatives. Now, after a performance and display like that by this team, you're probably wondering, how in the world do I have negatives? Well, I have only one, and the thing is, I was not going to point it out if it hadn't been a certain negative that I have lamented about all season long, and it once again reared its ugly head. Yes, talking about wasteful finishing with the added spice of a reluctance to shoot. This is a match that could and should have been wrapped up in 90 minutes by Barcelona, but they opted to overplay the ball sometimes instead of finishing the chance, and as a result they went to extra time. Anyway, I won't dwell on that for too long. I will move on to my positives from the performance, and I think first and foremost it was the hunger and desire from each of the players. They might have become less physically intense as the long match wore on, but the heart and character, as Brendan Rodgers would say, was there to be seen from Barcelona. This was a match that had only one acceptable outcome for the Catalans, and they labored and fought tooth and nail to achieve it. My second positive was the performance of Marc-Andre ter Stegen. There was probably no more crucial player for Barcelona on the night, as he made two very important saves to keep the scores at 1-0. First, to deny Luke de Jong, and of course secondly to save Blaugrana everything's blushes by stopping Ocampos from the penalty spot. My third and final positive is the tactical setup from Koeman on the day. Once again he went with the 3-5-2, and once again Lopetegui had no real answer for it. The fact that Lopetegui's side was forced to sit deep and try to hit Barcelona on the break was definitive evidence that Lopetegui, who usually likes his team to dominate possession, had resigned from trying to go toe-to-toe with Koeman's team, and it was ultimately that pragmatism that cost Sevilla the match. So, with all that said, I'll now move on to talk about the man of the match, and boy, was this one hard to call. Up until he was subbed off, Ousmane Dembele had been probably the brightest spark for Barcelona, as he looks full of willingness to shoot, run, and press all evening, something which actually every player was looking like, but he just looked like he had that extra oomph. But after he was substituted, I believe that was when my man of the match, Gerard Piqué, stepped up and showed his reluctant attack how it should be done, scoring with a towering header to force extra time. He also put in a heck of a shift defensively, and he dominated the likes of De Jong and En-Nesyri aerially for the whole 120 minutes, and I just feel like no player better embodied the spirit of this comeback from Barcelona. I mean, this guy was playing through the pain barrier, and he is, I feel, deserving of the Blaugrana Everything Man of the Match. Well, that does it for my match review. Ladies and gentlemen, what were your thoughts on the match? Were you on edge as much as I was during the final 4 minutes, before we got the equalizer? And who was your man of the match? Please feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day, and Forza Barca.